So within even the e-commerce space, you think the limitations, or there really are no limitations for text, or are there certain types of goods that will sell better inherently? Wine is the perfect example, right?
Well, to your point, if you have a clothing item, you might have some more syntax issues where you got to talk about size and this. And there's going to be clearly, if you're selling the unit as is and there's no alterations, everything will do well. A fork, a hat, sneakers. If you just reply with, if there's a cadence of size, yeah, I think the prize is going to be so lucrative that people will innovate to eliminate the limitations.
Yeah.
And what about platforms like Slack? Do you see them coming into play? Like, what's next after text?
Well, whether it's Slack or WhatsApp or Messenger or other thing, China's advantage of being a communist country, which gave those companies the ability to hold off their competition, be vertically integrated, and play politics and good innovation and just scale that is unheard. I'm so fascinated by people that don't have context on the Chinese market, whether it's live streaming or how much an influencer could sell. When I say things to people like, an influencer sold $60 million worth of this one product on one live stream, an American business person's brain breaks if they're not being global about this. So, I do think there's a ton of innovation in the American market. Let me phrase, outside of the Chinese market around live. I think there's a ton on that. But it's all the same game. Whether you're YouTube or Spotify or Facebook, I believe all three of those companies are in the same business.
Yeah.
They need to show me that they can vertically integrate with retail. I'm shocked that nobody's bought Target yet. Like I'm convinced that Facebook or TikTok or that somebody in content buys Target. I think Walmart going to the TikTok route makes a ton of sense. It's what Amazon has over everybody. I'm stunned by the big tech companies' lack of understanding that retail is a component of the stack. And so I think Target's a huge target for M&A activity from a Facebook or an Apple or a Spotify, because I think retail is an actual part of the macro stack of the biggest companies in the world. And I think you can see that with Amazon's leverage. You can see that, with content. Amazon Prime is a leverage point against, the video product against selling on its site. Walmart's going to need to replicate that. Facebook's going to find itself. Facebook is incredible in M&A around its core strength of attention, but I think they have to integrate hardware and retail to be a full stack monster. And so I'm waiting for the companies in America to wake up to that full stack. And we've seen it with Amazon's seen it the most. Prime, Whole Foods, these are not by accidents. And I think Bezos continues to outmaneuver his competition.
So how big do you think that opportunity is? We've kind of coined it as social commerce. I think that's what you're touching on here. This idea that
it's Mac. You see where I'm going? I know where you're going with social commerce, live, shopping cart. It's huge. I think it extends beyond that. Think about it. If Facebook owns Target tomorrow and you're in feed and you could buy something, but you could pick it up at the register if you want, or all those locations, the answer is, I think I'm already in my mind on social commerce 3.0, which is the macro infrastructure. Like Facebook needs to own the TV, the hardware to be able to, see a commercial, purchase it, and have Target deliver it. Because Amazon's there. Amazon's missing one thing, a social platform.
So then who in your mind is winning social commerce 1.0 or 2.0, wherever you're at, wherever we're at today?
The human beings that are arbitraging the platforms.
So the Shopify drop
the human
shippers.
Beings. Exactly. The humans, not the platforms. The platforms are fragmented. Somebody's going to M&A their way. Somebody's going to pull off the Bob Iger moment. Bob Iger figured out that the IP was the value, and he went and overpaid for Lucas and Marvel, only to be proven to be historically true with Disney Plus. Somebody of the Amazon, Google, Facebook, Inc., Snap, Spotify, I think is a sneaky competitor to all this because they can add video and boom. Like some of those 7 people that have the attention are going to add hardware and social and retail and win the game. Like Apple buying Target would make sense. Facebook, I'm stunned that Facebook hasn't gone there because they have so much to lose against Walmart and Amazon. If Walmart and Amazon buy Twitter, like there's a lot here, and it's going to go that route.
And so you're saying Amazon is already there in a lot of ways.
Amazon's there. If Amazon goes and buys Twitter tomorrow, they've completed the loop. They're in hardware at some level, and with voice, and I think they should build. I think all of them should make a television, a dumb television that's just tricked out for no money, get in homes. Like to me, I'm buying a television and losing. I'm doing the razor and video game business where I'm losing money on the television that's tricked out just to get you into my iOS.
Yeah. But then how many players do you see in that ecosystem? Because it does seem like it has like winner takes most characteristics, 3.
Right? You know how it all plays out at scale, right? An A and a B competing with a distant C. I think QSRs help us with that, right? McDonald's, Burger King, and there's Wendy, and then change thing will come along and chicken sandwiches matter. Like, but like, so I think 3 feels very right. 5, if you're fragmenting it out.
So do you think it's harder to go from the social to the hardware and the other macro pieces like Facebook would have to?
I think it's completely casting based on the CEO.
Okay.
I mean, it's money and casting. It's who has vision, It's who has vision. It's like I'm 100% positive what I'm saying is right and will play out.
Yeah.
And that's called vision. That's understanding consumer. That's understanding business dynamics and historical trends and pattern recognition. And now it's why I've always been historically, I used to get booed at South by on my take on Bezos versus Steve Jobs. Something about the way Jeff has played always made me feel like he saw it the most. And I think they're awfully close, right? They've got, they're awfully close, man. They're awfully close. I think they do need the social. The one piece they're missing is the social component. And I think, if I'm Bezos, I put up $1 billion for internal creation and just go, or I go out and try to buy Twitter, probably.
What about buying a gaming company? Because that seems to be like the new social or the next wave in social. Are these games like
but
Fortnite?
That's easier because you're buying a production company because to Amazon's point, they have Twitch. Right. Facebook went and acquired Mixer from Microsoft. Microsoft, by the other way, is the other sneaky one. I've been very impressed with the Microsoft CEO. I've been very bullish on Microsoft. I think they've been very smart. I think LinkedIn was a monster move into the thing that I talk about as that's become more of a social network. And I think they just have to innovate a little bit more. I could see them going into the hardware play heavy with Xbox. Like come out with Xbox TV or XTV if you don't want to alienate and make it too like somebody's got to create the loss leader television that's stacked with their iOS. That is the game in a lot of ways where you can do social shopping or video shopping within it. If you have the retail infrastructure, again, Microsoft launches an X television, goes and buys Target, and we're watching commercials on X television through their iOS, like a Roku or thing like that nature. And I click a button and Target's delivered. You see where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
It's a subscription for all of your services.
Correct. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. It's the ultimate subscription at the end of the day.
And whoever controls the person's face wins, which is why Apple's blown it, which is why I've always been down on what Cook's done. They owned this remote control and they didn't layer on top of it. And there's really 2 remote controls, this and the television. So everybody who's in that game, get a remote control, get to the front of the screen, and then build the stack underneath it. That is the game. That is the $1 trillion warfare.
So that's, even with Apple,
I want to write a book called $1 Trillion Wars with the 7 logos we just said and lay out the hypothesis. I cannot wait to have this video playing in 6 years as a split screen of I Told You So because it's 100% going to happen.